Hi, I'm Heather Anderson, and I chose Civil War revivals as my research topic. According to course guidelines, historians must be honest and objective in their research and dedicated to a reasoned and investigated reconstruction of primary sources. At first, Civil War soldiers cared little for religion, but as the fighting became more intense and bloody, soldiers in both the Union and Confederate armies turned towards religion to help them cope with suffering, loss, and their own mortality. In the 1860s, most Christians believed that a sovereign God determined a person's time of death. Families of soldiers encouraged them to prepare for death and a future reunion with them in heaven. Although there were religious men scattered throughout both armies, most men lost their spiritual behaviors early in the war. The war was thought to be over quick, and some men joined seeking adventure. Many men would drink, curse, and indulge in many vices. By the fall of 1862, after bloody battles such as Shiloh and Antietam, the war was no longer a fun adventure that would be over soon. This realization caused men to seek out God. Prayer meetings with singing and occasional sermons began to take place in the camps as the first signs of religious revival. Thomas Wentworth Higginson, a colonel in the 1st South Carolina Volunteers, the 1st Slave Regiment mustered into service, records in his camp diary what Sundays were like in 1863. Soldiers in the regiment, along with white men who were teachers, officers, and cavalrymen, as well as white women on horseback and in carriages, were led to a grove for Sunday services. This service included a band, a sermon, prayer, and singing. One of the songs sung in camp, "We'll fight for liberty till the Lord shall call us home. We'll soon be free till the Lord shall call us home," shows that men believed in predestination and had a willingness to die for freedom. Although revivals took place in the Union as well as the Confederacy, one of the most powerful revivals took place in the Army of Northern Virginia during the winter of 1862 to 1863, during the winter encampment near Fredericksburg. Early in the war, the South had many victories in the Eastern Theater. However, when the tides of war turned and the South began to experience defeat and heavy casualties, the revival in the Army of Northern Virginia gained momentum. It is possible that the revivals were an unconscious effort for the South to gain divine intervention. However, it's also possible that after witnessing so much bloodshed, the men were faced with their own mortality and felt the need to prepare themselves in the event of their own death. One of the interesting primary sources I found was a letter from John Monroe, who enlisted as a private in the 2nd Massachusetts Infantry. He discusses a rivalry between his regiment, the 2nd Massachusetts Infantry, and a Michigan regiment, who were in the same brigade. He discusses a revival breaking out in the Michigan regiment, and 11 men were going to be baptized the next day. Not to be outdone, Colonel William Cogswell of the Massachusetts Regiment gave a speech to his men, and 25 men of the Massachusetts Regiment were baptized alongside the 11 men from the Michigan Regiment. According to Confederate Chaplain J. William Jones, by the end of the war, 150,000 soldiers had been converted. The revivals not only saved the souls of many men, but also provided hope and the spiritual resources necessary for the soldiers to endure the hardships of war.